Aloha and welcome, caregivers. This webinar is presented by Gimme a Break, which is a nonprofit organization that's caring for caregivers just like you. I'm Savy Makalena, and I am the founder and CEO of Gimme a Break. We offer you an emotional and physical break, as well as resources for your continued wellness. Give Me a Break is really based on caring for caregivers to provide support, resources, and of course, webinars like this as part of our outreach to promote self care and your survival. We're all caregivers and we either were, are, or will be, so you deserve that support. This presentation is one of the ways that we provide education to you and your self care in ways that is from a caregiver's point of view. So, not necessarily are these people talking about not having a clue what you're going through. We all are caregivers and know what it's like to try and juggle and balance everything. So take a moment and make sure that you have something to take notes with, a pen and paper or a notebook or a journal, whichever you'd like, as we get ready to go into today's presentation and continue our series on the Caregiver Wellness Wheel. The caregivers, you should know that your wellness matters. And why does this matter? Because you are at high risk. So let's just talk about a couple of statistics. 20% of caregivers suffer from depression. I think that is higher. 50% of caregivers will pass before the one that they are caring for. Now, take a breath on that one for just a second, because that's staggering. Half of us won't survive our journey. 70% if you're over the age of 70. So, this is vital for you. It's your survival. 60%, of course, have reported at least one adverse mental or behavioral health symptom. And that's why today we'll be talking about mental wellness as well as spiritual wellness. 100% of you, of course, are frustrated, exhausted, and are ignoring the signs of caregiver burnout. So we're going to change that today. We're going to make sure that you understand and practice wellness. I know, you're tired, you're exhausted, but you can do this and we can do it in moments. So, what does wellness mean? Well, this is an active, deliberate pursuit of activities and lifestyles that lead to the state of complete health. Wellness is an individual pursuit, everyone does it differently. And we have self responsibility for our own choices, behavior, and lifestyles. It's yours to control. In a world of caregiving where you're losing control of everything, the one thing you can control is your own wellness. And it's all yours. So wellness is not just a state of being like, I feel well, right? It's an active process of being aware and making choices that lead toward an outcome of optimal, holistic, and well being. So it's taking responsibility, a deliberate action for your self care. All right. So, what does it mean to self care? Well, we all kind of think taking care of yourself, right? Again, it's a deliberate activity in order to take care of our mental, our emotional, our physical health. Good self care is really the key to improve our mood, to improve our anxiety, and it's also the key to our relationship with ourself. And of course, our relationship with others. So, what is not self care? Well, self care isn't just something that happens. It's not just, hey, I think I ate a salad today. That's not self care. And it isn't selfish. It's something that refuels us. It's about considering our needs. It's deliberate. Remember that word. It's knowing what we need in order to do or in order to take care of ourselves and to be able to take care of others, to do the things that we need to do and be healthy. If you don't practice self care, you become the one needing care. So, where do we start? Well, we're going to stick to the basics: revive, relax, resource, and renew. The 4 R's is what I always talk about. So, find your rhythm and routine, actively plan, and increase your commitment by adding in activities. Increase your support, announce your plan to everybody. And of course, we want to kind of keep it fresh. So never stop learning, never stop trying, and just be aware of how these things feel to take care of you. All right. So that's what this whole series is about. We're all about the wellness wheel. We're going to discuss all the 8 dimensions, or as I call them, spokes on the wheel, of how to do that. And today, as I said, we're talking about mental and spiritual wellness. So let's talk about mental wellness first. What is mental wellness? Well, mental wellness is the active awareness of your own ability to cope with the stressors of the day to day life. And for a caregiver, that's from the moment your eyes are open to the moment your eyes are open, because you're probably not even getting enough rest. So, a person that fits this description of being mentally well is somebody who has a positive sense of being and hope, and despite those stressors and challenges. Sounds euphoric for a caregiver, right? But it's attainable. You can do this. How do you do this? Where do you start? Well, I can give you more details at our support sessions, of course. But for today, just practice mindfulness. This is what I call when your heart and your brain hold hands, because your brain's very practical, but your heart's very emotional. And so you need to take those negative emotions away and fill yourself with as many positive emotions as possible. Bear in mind that a negative emotion takes up the power of 10 in you. And if you get rid of a negative emotion, then you need to fill it back up with the power of 10 positive, if not 20. So it's really a lot of work, I know, but in every moment, if you can turn a negative into a positive, then you're really working to embracing you. Embrace who you are. Have self compassion, self love, and self care. So, how do we do that again, right? I'm not just going to tell you you can do this. I'm going to give you some activities, because being consciously present and aware, as opposed to being on autopilot, that allows you to make choices and not overthink things, but make choices and deliberate actions that help you to be on the more positive side of things. So, for instance, when you wake up in the morning, write down something or say something positive about you. First thing you wake up in the morning, just say, I rock. I'm awesome. I got this. And it'll change and set the theme for your whole day. At midday, remind yourself, take a break. You deserve it. Breathe. We forget to breathe. And treat yourself to something you love. Give yourself that candy bar. Give yourself that cup of coffee that you want. Sit down and just look outside the window at something beautiful for just that moment. You can, and you should, and you will. Make a deliberate choice to do so. And then in the evening, right before bed, thank yourself. I call it add a caregiver. Take your hand, put it on your shoulder, and say, add a caregiver. Add a caregiver. Because you can do that for you. We do not need to get recognition from anyone else until we first give it to ourselves. So give yourself that recognition and fill yourself with positive. If you really, really, really are struggling, try to do a 2-week negativity detox. That's right. So separate yourself from all those negative things. Stop watching the news. Watch what you do on social media. Don't allow negative people around you. Laugh more, breathe more, and be in that moment. And look for the positive that's happening every day. Embrace you. So keep a pad or paper next to your bed every night. And before you go to sleep, write down at least 3 things that either you like about yourself or that you're grateful for that happened through the day. And in the morning, read them. That can be your morning start to set your theme. And then just keep adding new things. If you do this every day for 30 days, trust me, you will completely change your outlook. And you could even start what we call a gratitude jar. And I'll talk more about that later in the presentation as we end, as I talk to you about the giver's guides. And if I don't remember, well, then get on our website and go check out the Giver's Guides, because in our Giver's Guides magazine, we actually have an article that talks all about gratitude jar coming out in our May issue. So do positive things for your mental wellness. Don't keep saying that you're depressed. Say, I am awesome. And you will change that because you tell yourself who you are constantly. And focus on all of that energy, but remember to give yourself attention, your self-care. Make a deliberate action every moment to practice mental wellness. So with that, I want to turn it over to our expert in mental wellness and welcome. Aloha, Jamie.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so
Hi.
much for being here. Thank you so much, Savy, for having me. I think it's more of I have a lot of windows open when you're doing these. I don't know if that's the situation for you or
Same here.
caregivers, anyone out there when you're living the online life. Sometimes there's about 400 windows open. You're like, how do I, where is that?
Where am I going? It's a mental challenge. And so
It
that's why I
is.
brought a mental expert,
Yes,
a
you
mental
have to
wellness
have a
expert, and
little,
transformation leader. Jamie, I'm just going to turn it right over to you.
absolutely. Thanks so much, Savy. All right. I know that it can be so difficult whether you're here in real time or whether you're watching this recording. Time is precious. And so I appreciate you giving this time, not only to us, but to yourself. And so you are already on a path to, improving your well-being. I love everything Savvy talks about with the wellness wheel because there can be so much stigma about what health is or what wellness is, and oftentimes it lands on physical and doesn't necessarily incorporate all of those other full aspects of who we are. And so the wellness wheel is amazing, and Savvy had so many really important points going in, and I'm just going to be building off of that a little bit. So we are going to be talking about mental wellness and the things that we're going to go ahead and cover today. I'm going to do a little introduction. So who am I? Why am I here? Why does my opinion or perspective matter? We're going to talk about mental health, the what and why, which I think Savvy kind of covered a lot of that for me. So we'll zip right through that. And then we're going to talk about barriers and misconceptions because oftentimes, like Savvy touched on a lot of proactive, these are the things that you can do to like build your mental wellness. And sometimes barriers and misconceptions on mental wellness can be the things that get in our way. So even when you're trying and you're like, I'm trying to do everything, I'm getting outside and I'm walking in the sun and I'm doing this and I'm doing that, but I still feel as if I may be struggling. There are some barriers and misconceptions that are very common that once you take a look at them and you have a better understanding of them for yourself, how they impact your environments, how they impact the greater world and beyond, you can become more aware and work with them so you can take action a little bit more proactively to improve your well-being. And then we're going to talk about some support resources, some free support resources that are available to you. My goal today for you is to, in the short time that we have, how to increase your awareness around those elements that may decrease your well-being. Like mental wellness is a portion of that overall wellness. And so every little aspect, if something's a little bit off, everything else is affected. How to more intentionally support your overall well-being, and then where to get additional support for you and those around you. So once again, hello, I am Jamie Loken, and I am the founder and owner of Today I Am Transformation Co. I am an adult mental health first aid instructor. I'm a former copywriter for Ionic Sky Copy. That was, would say, my first business I've had, and I focused on helping social impact, wellness, alternative health companies tailor their messages and better support their consumers, which is potentially all of you, and building wellness support resources. I'm also a former in-house wellness coordinator for faculty and staff at a university. And as I mentioned, adult mental health first aid instructor, which is so much like I am not a therapist, I'm not a counselor, I'm not a social worker. I am coming to this as potentially a layperson. I teach folks how to interact with others and better support others that may be going through substance use and mental health challenges. And even as an instructor, it has taught me how to interact with self so much better. It's changed how I interact with my loved ones and all those around me. I'm a mind body practitioner, office ergonomic assessor. So I have all these wellness certifications, but it's more to bring them all together because we are total people. So much, even like our healthcare system, everything is very segmented. So much is just like this aspect and this aspect. And we're just total human beings together. So all of these come together to be able to look at you as a whole human being. And just as a reminder, once again, not a licensed psychologist or medical professional. All this just comes from my own lived experience. I've been sober for almost 14 years. And so a lot of that can be a lot of learning as well, but also professionally, like putting these, I am here, I use these resources. I never really recommend anything that I have not done myself. And also the things that I teach my clients and the organizations that I work with. So first up, mental health, what and why? What is it? I would normally go through to like a dictionary, but I went to the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration, SAMHSA, which is an amazing resource. If you look that up online, and these resources will be in a document I will be sharing with you later. It includes an emotional, psychological, and social well-being, which thankfully Savy has already mentioned it. It really determines, how we interact with stress. It can impact our physical health. It impacts our relationship. What is it? But why is it important? It impacts every aspect of our lives, how we show up, how we take action. It impacts our physical health. That includes our energy. Sometimes whether, we're short with someone or not, can come down to whether maybe we haven't slept and we're not feeling well mentally or physically. And so all of these things are very important when it comes to mental health, because so many things do start with our minds and integrating everything else as well. So when you take a look at mental health and you're interacting with your own mental wellness, and even taking a look at like the mental wellness of those around you as a caregiver, individual mental wellness and that overall well-being, it can really look different for everyone. We're so much on a spectrum, and as we move and grow, it can change. What is well for us one day may look different the next day or the next year or the next week or the next decade. And our individual well-being impacts community and collective well-being and how we show up. But the collective well-being, though we can only control ourselves, that collective well-being does impact our well-being. So always, keeping that in mind. It's, where all those aspects of wellness impact us, all of the environments that we're in, our close immediate environments, our community environments, our global environment can impact our well-being as well. And also some of the well-being norms that we're exposed to, like in commercials for healthcare, or somebody being, oh, hey, this is what this is supposed to look like for you. Sometimes it can really feel unattainable when you see that. And so just keeping in mind that some of those things, especially when it comes to like advertising or maybe what we see in movies or film, that some of those things are crafted, and really doing our best to shape our relationship with self and our mental wellness based on our own individual experiences and what works for us, and not necessarily constantly trying to live up to like what we maybe see in the media, because that isn't always necessarily realistic. Lots of statistics out there. If you're interested statistics. We have a short time today, so I'm not going to go into statistics, but if you really like to take a look at statistics for the US, the 2023 State of Mental Health in America report is really extraordinary. It talks about individuals, it talks about organizations as well, and you can find that at Mental Health America at mhanational.org. And so what are some barriers and misconceptions? As I mentioned, I'm going to talk about like, I won't list all of this. Savy's already done an amazing job of offering some like really amazing proactive tips and tools on how to support like your mental wellness. Some of these things that you can get under your radar and can hinder your ability to take that action or hinder your ability to like, hey, this isn't working. Like I'm trying to keep a gratitude journal and I still feel really bitter. I don't know if anyone else ever feels that way, but I know that there are times when I have absolutely felt that way. And it's not necessarily just a you thing. And I want to go ahead and take some of that out. Like we can keep trying and trying and we feel very isolated, maybe and alone. And so I do want to talk about the barriers and misconceptions that can hinder you from getting to a space of, positive mental wellness for yourself, because things will happen. We will have loss day to day. We will have stressors that are very, very understandably taxing. And so we want to go ahead and just keep that in mind. So barriers and misconceptions to caring for your own mental wellness. So stigma and stereotypes, like maybe the environment that you're growing up in or community. Oftentimes I know for me, it was like, hey, if you're strong, you're not paying attention to your mental wellness. Like strong people don't have to look at that. Like you just go to the gym and take a walk and you're going to be good. Your environment, folks, there might be some barriers. Like our physical environment can be a barrier. Like if we're in a space where maybe there isn't quality air, where that is an extra stressor that can hinder us from being able to really thoughtfully and attentively take a look at our mental wellness. Financial stress is powerful. Location, where you live, like maybe you want to get support and you'd like to do it in person, but that location and mention access or even taking time for yourself, and especially as a caregiver, taking that time can be so difficult. And so keeping in mind that these barriers are there, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should just focus on this, but being aware of what can stop you can at least allow you to approach it with compassion and curiosity. So 3 common misconceptions that can also contribute aside from those barriers. It's just all mindset, like, oh, but just change your mind, just make sure you change your mind. And oftentimes we can try and try, but if we're physically ill, or maybe we're congested, or we're exposed to an environment where it creates inflammation in our body, we're like, oh, it's hard to think. Maybe we have some brain fog. We're like, I'm just trying. Sometimes focusing on our physical and our mind-body connection can really help ease up that, like taking a look at, our history, our lived experience, the environments that we're in. So that way we are more receptive to potentially changing our mind. If you're strong, you don't have to worry about your mental health or get support. Oftentimes it's like that can still be a stigma. Even if you believe that it's okay to get support, if folks around you believe that, it can still cause some friction for yourself. So just having some awareness of like, oh, but if I was stronger, I wouldn't need the support. No, we all struggle, and it's life, and getting that support and taking care of that aspect of your well-being is so important to just your overall wellness and how you show up in the world to care for others. It's selfish to prioritize your mental health or take time for yourself. No, it's not. Caring for yourself impacts how you show up in the world. If that's what you have to tell yourself, oftentimes, folks, depending on our identity or our space in our family or our community, we often feel like we're pulled in a lot of different directions. And so understanding that it is not selfish. And I love that Savy mentioned that. And just a bonus, if you struggle with mental health, there's just something wrong with you. We are impacted by our environment. We can only control ourselves, but just understanding that immediate, community and global does impact us. And sometimes we might feel down, sometimes we might feel grief and loss and mourning. And it is honestly a natural reaction to something that's either happening in our immediate environment or globally. So practical tips and tools. So, okay, well, I need to pay attention to these things, Jamie. What do I do now? Approach all of those things with compassion and curiosity, like build change tips, like really have a fluid relationship with that mental wellness. Like everything is gradual. Sometimes we feel really down and we're just like, I'm just going to take the biggest bite out of this and I'm going to do all of the things and change all of the things today. And after about a week, we might be able to hold that up, but like it's really hard to sustain that. So building gradual goals, having some awareness, having compassion, going back to that. Just remembering that you can control that which you can control, accept and acknowledge. It can be really, really, really difficult to accept and acknowledge that everything is not within our control. Recognizing that everyone is different and even you are different than yesterday. Something that worked for you to make you feel well yesterday may not work today. It may not work next week. It's something that's always worked your whole life. Because our environments are changing, we're changing. Keeping that in mind and intentionally creating that space. And it's so hard, but most of us are carrying these around. Sorry, I just like flashed my old driver's license at you. Carrying these around, you can set an alarm, though we're all perpetually distracted maybe by the phones and like all of the information of the world in our pocket, having an awareness of that, but using that as a tool, setting an alarm to remind you, hey, how am I feeling? What caused how I'm feeling? Like I need to remember to do X, Y, Z, because sometimes it's really, really difficult. So much of our thinking and the way our brains want to protect ourselves and survive. And so much of our thinking can be subconscious. And so we want to do automatic behavior. So you have to kind of set those alarms to remind you to care for your mental well-being and your total well-being. Visualization can be really powerful. Exploring those whys. Why do you want to care for your mental wellness? And just really digging deep into that and perpetually reminding yourself of what that is and allowing yourself to have joy, especially as a caregiver. Sometimes that sorrow, that loss, that responsibility, depending on the situation you're in and the relationships you're having with that which you're caring for, people you're caring for, the responsibilities that you have, there can come guilt. The guilt can be immense when you're allowing yourself to be present and to feel joy and to just remind yourself like life it feeds you. That joy and being present can feed you, and learning mind-body connection and techniques so you can understand your body a little bit more, because your mind is in your body. And so these two things are connected, and your mind impacts your body and your body can impact your mind. And allow yourself to seek support and mingle with like-minded folks and loved ones, and some self-inquiry questions that you can explore that can be really helpful. Where do my perceptions about mental wellness come from? How do my perceptions about mental wellness impact me? How do the mental health perceptions of others impact me? This is just an awareness of, take a look at your media environment, your community, folks that have shared identity, folks that don't have shared identity with you. What are the things I do to care for my mental wellness? And what are some of those barriers? What do you face? And it's not that this is something you have to share like with others, but so you can have some self-reflection as well. And what are the areas you need to pay some special attention to? I know I'm someone where I'm like, I need to do it all. I can do it all. And I can kind of get in, I'll say yes, yes, I will constantly say yes to things that I maybe don't have time or space for. And every time you say yes, you are saying no to something else. And that may be your mental wellness. It may be, you know, your loved ones. It may be doing things that fuel you, and really having perspective on that can help you. Some other topics that you want to take a look at, that is this is a very broad, topic that can give you some reflection on like mental health and how you can better care for yourself. Social determinants of health, ACEs, which are adverse childhood experiences, trauma-informed and trauma-responsive care, and then also mind-body connection and parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system mindset and conditioning, which was an absolute game changer to me and my life. Mind-body connection is so powerful. And I'm going to upload a little document for anybody that's here that you can utilize. And national support in the US, if you want to support someone else, because oftentimes the mental health of those close to us or those in our environments, that can impact us if we don't know how to interact with that. We want to support them. These crisis lines are not just if you feel as if you're in mental crisis. They're also if you want advice on how to better support the folks that are around you. So that's the National Suicide Prevention Line, Crisis Text Line, and the National Helpline from SAMHSA. And so those are also going to be in the documents that I'm going to upload to chat as well. And then just an additional free support resource, which is a mind body quick start timeout with some mind body, which will support your mental wellness. Some of my favorite exercises, and just a really kind of like a tiny little crash course in like mind body connection that can be supportive. And if you're watching this on the recording, feel free to go ahead and just message me at tosayam, TOSAYIAM.com/contact, and I can get that document to you as well. Once again, I am Jamie Loken, and my website is tosayam.com. I'm an adult mental health first aid instructor. So in addition to supporting your own mental wellness, if you want to learn a little bit more on how to better support those around you as well, I teach adult mental health first aid, and all of that information is on my website as well. So thanks so much for being here. And Savy, I can turn that on back over to you.
Hi. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Jamie. That was amazing. And again, you guys, just Jamie at tosayim.com. You can get a hold of her, and you can contact us for information as well. Wonderful information. I want to add also to what you had said, here in Hawaii, we have the 988 number that you can dial when you're feeling like you need to talk to someone and you know that you're pushing to the edge. So you can just dial 988 on any phone. Hawaii Cares 988 is there for you. And so that's our local number. But thank you so much for providing that. And Jamie's information is going to be available to you guys. I'll talk to you about it at the end of the session. So thank you so much, Jamie. Aloha. Great. So Austin is our special guest. He's a healer. He has his company, which is called Bringing Balance Back. And so I love that name because Austin is here to talk to you about how you can get that balance and why that's so important when it comes to your spiritual wellness. Any of your wellnesses, actually, the entire wheel is covered by Austin. But thank you for coming on today.
So I help people, with a lot of different things, mental issues, physical issues, depression, anxiety, phobias, chronic pain, fibromyalgia, plantar fasciitis. What else have I seen? Pinched nerves in the neck where they wanted to do surgery. All kinds of interesting things. I've worked with skin issues. And, it all stems from the same place. Usually it's negative charges that are trapped in your body, like unprocessed emotions or negative beliefs about yourself or the world that are getting triggered over and over again. So it creates dis-ease. I use a lot of different kind of things kind of put together. So, I touch up a little bit on NLP, hypnosis, the mind-body connection, like you were talking about earlier, the subconscious mind, neurosomatic, psychosomatic stuff. And then I came up with kind of a 3-step healing process for humans. So the first part would be clearing the charges from your past. So what they would call inner child work. So, you know, sometimes when we're growing up, we have certain things in our life that causes stress or even trauma, and those things kind of stay with us in our nervous system. What happens is those things can get poked at and triggered over and over and over again. And, you know, in your present life, it could really affect your present life. So the first part would be clearing the past so you can feel better in the present. That's the first part of healing. And after that is learning to be in the present. I think after you start learning that it's okay to feel into your body and be present, be here now. And after that, you can start creating who you want to be. So that's a 3-step process that I kind of came up with. But usually people come to me with issues. So they're coming to me with like, oh, Austin, I have anxiety and depression. Can you help me? Yes, I can. Oh, Austin, I have this chronic pain in my sciatica area that I've tried everything, massage, chiropractic, everything. Can you help me? Yes. So what I found is most mental and physical issues come from the same place, these charges. So let's do a quick experiment today. So one way that we can get nice and connected to the body is using a few of your 5 senses. So everybody just kind of use your eyes and kind of look around the room real quick. And I just want you to notice the colors, any shapes to kind of catch your eyes. And we're just using your vision for a second. Perfect. There you go. Now I just want you to use your sense of hearing for a second. So just notice the different sounds besides the sound of my voice. Maybe there's cars outside or you can hear some people walking. Just notice the different sounds you can hear for a second. And then take a few deep breaths. Okay, notice the different smells you might be able to hear. Smells you might be able to smell. And then feel the temperature of the room on your skin. Okay. And now take a few deep breaths, and with each breath, you're just getting more and more connected to your body, noticing more and more of those sensations. Okay. So now we're going to see how the mind and body are connected. So I want you to think of an event in your past, maybe between the ages of 0 and 10. That kind of pops up in your head because it was kind of stressful. Okay. But usually vivid memories are either charged by a positive experience or a negative experience. So if you have a vivid negative experience, that's probably the one you want to work on because it probably has a charge. So go ahead and think about that experience for a second. And where do you feel that in your body? Where does the sensation come up? Right? Where's the tightness? Where's the heaviness? Where's the dis-ease? And once you found that area, I want you to give it a shape and color there. And just gently breathe into that shape and color until you get a yawn, sigh, or swallow. So yawn, sighs, and swallows are super cool because they're all normal ways humans release stress. These are all vagus nerve resets, as I say. So when you're having a long day at work, you let out a big or if you're right before sleep, we let out a big yawn. And a lot of people think yawning is attached to being tired. It's not. It's your body releasing stress so you can have a good night's sleep. Or if you're in a dark alley and you see 2 dark figures coming at you, you're gonna do a hard swallow, gulp, right? So these are all ways humans release stress naturally. So we're just using it in a more specific way here. So once you hit one of those releases, I want you to reassess the area. Did it move, shift, dissipate, split, right? And if it's the same, sure, it's the same, no problem. And then if the shape and color change, just give it a new shape and color. And again, just gently breathe into that until you hit another yawn, sigh, or swallow. And clear your mind, relax your body. You know, we're just connecting to that space of where you felt that emotional stress from your past. And now I'm gonna mention, you know, how old are you right now and how old was that event, right? That's how long you're holding that charge for, right? So this is why it's so important to clear the past, because these things can get triggered over and over and over again. Perfect. All right, now, if you hit another release, you know, same thing, just reassess the area. Did it move, shift, dissipate, split? What does it feel like now? And once you got that new shape and color, just notice the depth of it, you know, notice if it's connected to any senses, and just gently breathe into that again until you get another release, another yawn, sigh, or swallow. Some of you might be feeling some emotions coming up. Some of you might be feeling some memories, some thoughts coming up with it. That's because all the charge is stuck in the body. Your body is your subconscious mind. Perfect. And once you hit another release there, again, reassess the area. Did it move, shift, dissipate, split, right? A lot of my clients said towards the end, you know, like when it almost cleared, it felt like dust, glitter, skin, or kind of like voidy. So if you're experiencing any of that, you might be pretty close to releasing that charge from that memory. And once you released like maybe 3, 4, or 5 times, you can check in with it. So you can just think about the memory, right? If it feels more neutral or like a past experience now where it's not resonating with you anymore, you did it. You've cleared the charge for memory, right? So this is neurosomatic balancing. You can use this for a memory, a negative memory. You can use this for a person you dislike because you're probably not even seeing them for who they are anymore. You're looking through that dirty lens of all the emotions. You can use this for a negative belief about yourself for the world, right? So if you have a feeling about yourself coming up once in a while, like, oh, I'm just not good enough, or oh, I'm unworthy, whatever it is, right? Stop and catch it. And just say it in your head a few times. I'm just not good enough. I'm just not good enough. Where does it light up in the body? Because that means that idea about yourself has a charge in your nervous system because you brought it down from the idea world, you thought about it long enough, and now it's in your nervous system, right? So you can use this for a belief, and for beliefs, you just keep clearing until you can say it out loud, and it's not resonating with you more. It feels neutral, foreign, or ridiculous. Like you just start laughing, you know you cleared the belief. So a lot of people who have like depression kind of stuff, right? They have a negative belief about themselves, and then it kind of just spirals until they get to a place where they're numb and, nothing seems bright anymore. It's just like packed emotion on emotion, negative thought on negative thought. So the way I help them is I just help them take off all these outfits, process this stuff out, breathe it out, whatever is better for them, and get them back to themselves. And usually humans normally are very joyful, peaceful, confident, like naturally they feel it from the self. Like they need nothing external to feel that way. And once they feel that from themselves again, like, oh, I feel love. That's weird. Yeah. Isn't that weird? And it's really hard to go back to depression if you feel love come from yourself, right? So it's a really beautiful thing to see. But all right, how's everybody doing with the clearing? If you got it all out, good for you. If you didn't, just remember the process. It's very simple. Shape and color, breathe into it to yawn, sigh, or swallow until it's completely gone. That memory feels neutral or feels like just a past experience. So this is one of the ways that I help my clients. Of course, I have many different techniques I use, and it depends on who's sitting in front of me on which technique I'm going to use. So, you got to figure out what kind of processing type, right, my patient has. Is he more visual? Is he more auditory? Right, I have no idea. So once we sit down and talk a little bit, I have an idea. And if they're very visual, yep, we're using visualizations because they're gonna be super powerful for you, right? Or if they're more auditory, okay, what does that sound like to you? Yeah, perfect. So these are just some of the tools that I use for my clients, but I wanted to share one tool with you guys you can take home and use for your own stress patterns and find out, what kind of beliefs or memories still have resonance to you, right? I mean, if you say I'm just not good enough and you feel like in your body, why are you feeling that way? It's just words, right? It's kind of like I'm a sweet potato on the moon, right? It sounds ridiculous. That's how it should sound to you, and it shouldn't have any feeling connected to you, of course. So the physical issues is the same thing. So it's like, they got some inner child stuff that they haven't processed, and they got a couple of negative beliefs about themselves or the world, and when that charge is on charge into their body, and then that place just kind of locks up after a while. And once you start releasing that stuff, then everything starts to move and function again because everything has nerve flow, right? So even like organ issues and stuff, same thing. I've seen a lot of organ stuff get better too. But yeah, just notice the different areas that you felt that tightness or heaviness in your body, and get connected with your body more. So the more connected you are with your body, the more intuition you have, right? The more you're processing emotions, because that's what processes emotions, your body. And you're gonna start feeling other people's stuff and your own stuff more, and then you can, oh man, my arm is a little tight there. Yeah, I wonder what's going on with that. You can just give it a shape and color, and just start breathing into it until it starts opening up and relaxing again. We should be very fluid in our emotions. I mean, yeah, you work out, you have some pain or whatever, right? But that's different from what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like a lingering chronic pain that's like kind of like stays with you, and you're like comes and goes. That's probably like emotional or some kind of subconscious pattern that you probably want to get rid of.
Because I think that our bodies, and something that has always resonated that you said to me, is that our bodies have the capability to heal themselves. And I love that you share that and provide us with the tools that we need in order to have that complete balance. So thank you, Austin. And of course, you can contact Austin through bringingbalanceback.com. And of course, you can just contact us through Give Me a Break, and we can always connect you to Austin. And I don't know if it's okay to talk about this, but I know you are doing healing classes as well, to healing certification classes. And so if you want more information about that, just again, give us a contact and we will definitely get you in touch with Austin.
Savi's a graduate. Ask
What's
her for
that?
healing. Savi's a graduate. Ask her
I
for healing.
am a graduate, yes, and I'm actually I'm considering taking part 2 as well. So yes, so I am a graduate of that class, and now a certified healer, level 1 though. You're like level universe. So if I if I could ever get to that level, it'd be phenomenal. But thank you so much, Austin, for sharing your time and yourself with our caregivers today.
No problem, Savy.
Here's
Thank you.
Austin's contact information for those of you that do need it. So it's just bringingbalanceback.com. And thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it. Okay, and let me just go back. There we go. So I wanted to just share screen also, since I have it here again for Hawaii, those of you who are struggling and are watching this later, because that's where we're based. 988 cares is all you have to do, is just dial 988 from your phone. And the team there is phenomenal. They actually came on to our Caring Caregiver show and talked about their service at one point. So I'm sure if you go to caringcaregivershow.com and look for that episode, you can get more information if you need it. Okay, so back to spiritual wellness. We covered mental wellness, and now I'm just going to briefly go over your spiritual wellness, and something that Jamie alluded to very often, and what she talked about was that mind-body connection. Spiritual wellness is really our search for meaning and purpose. That's really what it's all about. It's finding purpose, finding value and meaning in your life, and participating in activities that reaffirm that to yourself. So where do you start? Well, first of all, you need to, again, wellness is a deliberate action. So you need to schedule and plan time to think about that. Think about your life. Why do you do the things that you do? Now, caregiving, we're thrust into that, right? But are we embracing it? Are we fighting it? Really ask yourself questions. Talk to yourself. Have a good conversation. Explore different faiths and religions if that's your spiritual outlet. Keep learning new things. Explore new places. And one of my favorites is pay it forward, right? Make time to mentor and help others. For your spiritual wellness, that's one of the best things you can do, is connect with others in a positive way. So take a moment to really assess your purpose in life. What gives your life meaning and purpose? Not just now as a caregiver, but even before that, before caregiving came into your life and that journey and path changed. What were your values? You still have those. So get back in touch with who you are, right? And you can see on the screen all the different questions you can ask yourself. And here's a big one. Do you make relaxation a part of your day? Do you set aside, do you deliberately plan a time to relax? And I know you don't need an hour, guys. I know you don't have an hour sometimes as caregiving, but a moment. Do you plan a moment? And use your moments wisely. The practice of spiritual wellness can involve just breathing, like how Austin showed us the importance of breathing. He always tells me we don't breathe enough every day. The other day I was driving into town. I had to go to the dentist, of course, and I was in pain. And so Austin's voice came in my head, breathe. And so I just drove and I was practicing my breathing. And you know what? I didn't care about other cars. I wasn't yelling at them. And my pain subsided. And I made it to the dentist's office with a different attitude. So never underestimate the power of breathing. Meditation and yoga, praying if that's what you need, because that's really a form of getting in touch with your subconscious mind, right? And whatever that takes, spending quiet time, just pondering. Maybe we spend too much time letting our social media dictate to us who we are. We need to take a moment to allow ourselves to know who we are. Build awareness through journaling if that's what you want to do. There are apps on your phone now that you can use for journaling. And of course, serving the community, taking time to really get out in nature, appreciate things around us. That's your practice. And then as far as your awareness, are you aware of your own strengths and positive qualities? Well, then make a list if you're not. List 3, just start with 3. List 3 things that you know are your strengths and then build on those. Set your priorities and take that first step toward your mental and spiritual health. Embrace you and embrace your journey. As caregivers, we go into it kicking and screaming, don't we? We went from calm to chaos in a moment. And now we're kicking and screaming and fighting that. Embrace it. Embrace this wonderful journey and time that you have with your loved one. Embrace it and embrace you. Don't lose yourself in the journey. Embrace who you are. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. There will be 3 more presentations to come. The calendar for May will include part 3 of the Wellness Wheel, which is financial and vocational wellness. And we will have an expert on, Rebecca Foley, who's actually on today. Hi, Rebecca. And she'll be talking to us about our finance and wellness, our financial wellness. Then if those of you who missed Simple Steps for Managing Self-Care, there is going to be a redo as well on the 18th, and you can see the simple steps for managing self-care presented by Lonnie Almanza of Alakai and Associates. And then the final presentation in May will be on the 25th. That's part 4 of our wellness wheel, which is social and environmental. Really exciting for you to go ahead and join us for that one as well. And then we follow the whole thing up on Monday, June 3rd in the park. So it's Caregiver Day Camp, a day in the park at Kapiolani Park. Bring your own sack lunch and a yoga mat and a beach towel, whatever, and snacks and drinks will be provided. And we're going to have a wonderful wellness day in the park for you at no cost. So please join us. Bring your families, bring your carry. It'll be a lot of fun. And know that Gimme a Break is here for you. We are absolutely here for you in that we provide community and connect you with community through things like our day camp and, of course, like our yearly retreats. And we have resources for you. So contact us if you need a resource or a connection to that resource. And, of course, the support that we offer you through these educational webinars and presentations and our Givers Guides magazine, which I promised you I would talk about. So our Givers Guides magazine is a magazine that is an online magazine because you don't have time to be schlepping around a bunch of paper. So you can look at it online. You can read it on your iPad, on your phone while you're sitting in the doctor's office. Articles are written for caregivers by caregivers. And you can read that magazine anytime you need to. There are activities in there. There are things to help you with your self-care and wellness. And next month, if you haven't gotten your subscription already, you should, because next month's issue actually has a whole article that helps you to understand how to make a gratitude jar and what that can do for you. We all practice it in our community, and I want to thank you for that. So I want you to know that for those of you who are on our webinars and who have been watching, you will get a free 3-month subscription to Givers Guides online magazine. And again, remember, it's from your point of view. It's a caregiver's POV. So definitely get this subscription. It's free for 3 months, and just email your information. All we need is your full name and email to info@gab808.org and type in Simple 420. Simple 420 is all you need to type in as the promo code, and you will receive a free 3-month subscription and information on how a link to do that. And you want to do that right away because you want to get the May issue. So do that now and sometime in May to get the issue that is coming out at the end of this month. Okay. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Mahalo so much for all you do to care for others and especially yourselves. And mahalo to our speakers, Jamie Loken and to Austin TANI. Thank you so much for sharing of yourself And for those of you, again, who want more information about that, just contact us or go to our website, gab808.org. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Have a wonderful day. Make it positive. Make every moment positive and practice your spiritual and mental wellness from moment to moment. Mahalo, everyone. Aloha.